All right, today we have a truck in the shop that kind of sparked some interest in doing a video for you guys because this is John Kaufman's truck, and this is the farmer that gave me the opportunity to turn Firepunk into what it is today. Matt Kaufman, many of you guys know him from Diesel Power Challenge. He was with Firepunk for quite a while, good friend of mine. And this is his dad's truck, and his dad had a dairy farm that they had just got rid of the dairy cows and gone into grain farming operation. He had some empty buildings, was willing to give us a place to put a lift in, work on some trucks, and repair transmissions in the old milk parlor. And if it wasn't for somebody like John giving us that opportunity, we wouldn't be in the place we are today. What's exciting is his transmission. He's got an Allison in here that's given him some hard shifts, some flare shifts, and I have an opportunity to give back to him. And this is kind of fun that 15 years later, I get to return the favor and give a little bit back something to somebody that gave a lot to me 15 years ago. All right, we're over here in the Allison Trains room, and RJ's got John's transmission all torn down. And really what we found, it's not completely destroyed, but the C2 clutch has wear in it. There's some sticky valves in the valve body. The C3s and C4s have some wear as well. So we're just gonna go through and rebuild this thing, give it a fresh bill of health. That way he's ready for action. And it is nasty. You can see it's got about 12 years of farm road grime and dirt on it. We're gonna get this thing cleaned up and get him back on the road tomorrow. So I wanted to bring you over here. This is the 30 by 30 shop where we started with working on trucks. We put a little lift in here, and we would pull a truck in, pull the trans out, we tow bar it back out, pull the trans over and bring it over here. Where this snowy area patches over here is where the milk parlor was. There was a big red barn there that's been since torn down. And so we would build all the transmissions over there, and once it was done, we'd put it back on my tailgate, back it over here, bring it back inside and install it. And it was just not a very efficient setup, but it got the job done. But what John did is he gave us his farm, and we had trucks parked everywhere. You know, we were making a mess. We were driving in his yard. I never heard a complaint. You know, he was just a very generous farmer who was very willing to give us this opportunity. And that's why I thought it'd be fun to take you on this journey that just give you a reminder of our humble beginnings, because we started with grassroots, and we've just over the years just progressed a little bit every year and turned Firepunk into what it is today. Then right here beside this 30 by 30 shop was a veal barn, and this wasn't tall enough to put a lift in, so me and Matt had cleaned a bunch of stuff out of here to where we get trucks in, and we could get trucks at least in out of the weather and do some overhead jobs like injectors or stuff like that. So we had some extra space here, but it was not ideal because, you know, it's like you could barely open the hood without it hitting the ceiling. Wasn't lit good, no heat. All the heat that we had in here was with a propane or a kerosene heater, so it was a lot of fumes, but it got the job done. Obviously, coming from the small shop to the big shop, I didn't even know what to do with all the space. It's like I was actually looking at leasing out the back half of the building because I didn't think I was going to need it. I found out pretty quickly when I moved in from the small shop to the big shop is how inefficient all my processes were on the farm, because I had one small shop that I was always moving trucks in and out, and I wasn't able to get my jobs completed. Once I got everything under one roof where we could bring a truck in, put it on a rack, go to the trans build room, leave it on the rack and tear the next truck apart, and while we rebuilt the transmission, I tripled my monthly revenue the first month I was in the big shop. And that was without adding more people. It wasn't without advertising. I had the same amount of customers, the same amount of people. We were just a lot more efficient. That's where I didn't think I could afford a bigger place because I knew what my revenue was at the smaller shop. But sometimes you have to have the bigger aquarium so the fish can grow to the size that it has to swim in. So it didn't take very long, and we were all of a sudden going like, wow, we can use all this space and we have the capacity. But I had to have my customer build up that I needed for those first 3 years at the farm, or else it wouldn't have worked to just dive into the big building. But those are things that, like, a lot of time you have a chef that's a fantastic cook and everybody's like, dude, you should start a restaurant. Then he goes and starts a restaurant and he fails miserably because he doesn't know how to run a restaurant. He only knows how to cook food good. And that's where I was in the beginning. It's like I knew how to fix transmissions, I knew how to fix trucks, but I didn't know how to run a business. And it's taken me 10 years to even like get the core basis of business and understanding all the tax planning that goes into it and all the budgeting, how to build an accountability chart within your business and how to build standard operating procedures. And so now that's really been my focus even the last 5 years, from 2020 to 2025. We're continuously learning, and I'm learning business. And it's fun because now we're working on making our processes better, making our products better, getting our customer experience better. And it's a journey. I know what my pains and my struggles were in 2010 and 2012 versus what they are now. And it's equally as hard. They're just very different. And we just evolve as people, and the whole journey is what builds our character and it's what builds our story. So hopefully a video like this inspires some of you guys. If you guys have a dream, it is possible. You can start from nothing and you can achieve your dreams. You just have to start small and take one step at a time, make a plan, set a goal, and take that big goal, break it down year by year, quarter by quarter, month by month, week by week, day by day. And when you know that every day you just have to take a small step, in 10 years, your future can look considerably different than what it does today. But really the heart and soul of this video came from a place of gratefulness for me, from the opportunity that John gave me, myself, and his son Matt to start this journey. Because if we would have tried to lease a shop like we're in now, then we would have never been able to afford a $3,600 a month, bank payment or a lease payment to start with 26,000 square feet. And we wouldn't have had the customer base. We wouldn't have had the knowledge on how to run the business. John's generosity enabled me to build a customer base, learn the hard way. We were learning transmissions, we were learning engines. We were boys being boys, and we liked to hot rod, we liked to go fast. I started a lot of my fabrication stuff with a Sawzall MIG welder, a 110 MIG welder. I mean, I put side-by-side turbo kits together with MIG welders. I chewed up without getting slag on the inside, and you had to back purge and TIG weld some of these pipes to have a good turbo fabrication kit. But that's learning the hard way that we've done from the beginning. And I see a lot of you guys that you're into motorsports, you buy a truck and you like to hot rod. It's fun to build this stuff together with your friends or with your dad or with your son. And it's fun to build that passion together. And we all start somewhere. And I started grassroots from the farm and learned one step at a time, and we've just continually got better. It's a strive for perfection. But one thing that, talking about John and his journey that inspired me personally is back when we were over at the farm, he was battling cancer. He had a tumor that was growing. It was around his throat area, and he had to have lots of radiation. And it actually made his esophagus not work to where he couldn't swallow food correctly. He had to get a feeding tube put in. Even throughout the last couple years, he's had to have his voice box removed. So communicating with him, he has to either write notes, or he's got a little dial that he can mouth the words and it translates into it. John is always a cheerful person. He's always willing to help. And so even all the things that he's gone through, he's still willing to help other people and lend a hand. And so it inspires me to always be willing to give back. And that's what I want to do at Firepunk, is I want to build a business that can make a difference in our employees, make a difference in the local community, and be able to give back. And so today, that's what we're doing for John, is we're going to take this transmission. He doesn't know it yet, but we're going to fix it and we're going to give it back to him. And as a small token of thank you for all the generosity that he gave to us and giving us this opportunity. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little story, and we're really looking forward to 2025. We've got a lot of big things in store here at Firepunk, and it's always onward and upward.
Thank you.